Once upon a time, in the heart of a flourishing village, there lived a man named Olanipekun, known far and wide for his wealth. Olanipekun owned vast farmland, herds of cattle, strong horses, and even cash crops that brought traders from distant lands to his doorstep. His compound was like a small kingdom, bustling with activity. Olanipekun had one son, Olumide, whom he loved dearly. But among his many loyal male servants, there was one, Adewole, who was like a son to him. He was hardworking, trustworthy, and treated Olanipekun's possessions like they were his own. Everyone in the village admired Olanipekun's wisdom, but little did they know he had one final test for his son and servant. One fateful day, Olanipekun fell gravely ill. Knowing his time was near, he called Olumide and Adewole to his bedside. His voice was weak, but his words were sharp as a spear. "My son, my servant," Olanipekun began, "I have lived a long and fulfilled life, but now I must leave you. I have written my will, and here is my wish. Olumide, you will choose only one property from all I own. The rest will go to Adewole." The room fell silent. The villagers who had gathered murmured among themselves. What kind of father would give most of his wealth to a servant and leave so little for his own son? They wondered. But Olanipekun's wise eyes twinkled as he added, "Choose wisely, my son." After Olanipekun's passing, the wheel was read, and Olumide was thrown into deep thought. Should he pick the cattle, which brought milk and meat, or the farmlands, which grew food for the village? Perhaps the cash crops, which brought in traders and wealth. The villagers whispered and speculated. Some mocked Olanipekun for favoring his servant. Others pitied Olumide for being left with so little. But Olumide sat quietly, thinking about his father's words. Choose wisely. He knew his father loved him deeply, so there had to be a lesson in this. The day came for Olumide to make his choice. The entire village gathered to witness this historic moment. Olumide stood before everyone and said, "I have made my choice. The one property I will take is Adewole." Gasps filled the air. Adewole's eyes widened in disbelief. The chief of the village stepped forward, asking, "Why, Olumide? Why choose a servant over wealth?" Olumide smiled and replied, "My father was wise. He knew that whoever owns Adewole owns everything. Adewole has managed my father's wealth with care and loyalty. By choosing him, I have chosen all my father's property." The crowd erupted in applause. The chief nodded in approval, saying, "Your father has taught you well, Olumide. Wisdom is greater than gold." From that day on, Olumide and Adewole worked together to expand Olanipekun's legacy. The villagers praised Olanipekun's foresight, and Olumide became known as a wise leader who valued people over possessions. And so, the story of Olanipekun's will taught generations the power of making the right choice. For sometimes, the greatest treasure is not what you take, but who you choose. And so, dear friends, remember, wisdom is the foundation of true wealth, and the choices we make shape our destiny. May we all learn to choose wisely, just like Olumide did.